Welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. Last Thursday, Nigeria was stunned when Dr. Goodluck Debo, the president of the movement of the survival of Ogoni people, declared an autonomy. He said that in 30 days, Ogoni people will negotiate a path to self-government. He warned that we are acting, that is the Ogoni people, with legitimacy to reclaim all our rights without exception and for the sake of peace and security. Let no one test our collective will of the Ogoni people, because we will not surrender our indigenous rights anymore. On our show today, we have the nephew of Ken Saro-Wiwa, one of the famous Ogoni civil rights activists, Mr. Charles Wiwa. Mr. Charles is joining us from Chicago. Charles, welcome to Sahara TV.
Oh, thank you, Rudolph.
Let me start by asking you, what is going on now in Ogoni land? How are people reacting to the declaration made by Dr. Goodluck Debo?
First of all, there's relative calm and peace in Ogoni. Most of it is founded on the path of nonviolence, and the declaration, as a lot of people put it, is not about independence. It is about autonomy for the Ogoni people. And the Ogoni Bill of Rights spells out why the Ogoni people need autonomy. And the autonomy that the Ogoni people have asked for and are supporting, I do support the autonomy, is as a result of decades of neglect by successive Nigerian governments that have, neglected the Ogoni people. We wrote the Ogoni Bill of Rights, and our demands are there, and none of it, except recently, that has been looked into. So everything is going on fine. We're not declaring a country, but we are showing our total lack of faith in the government of the day. So everybody's going on fine.
You talked about autonomy. What would change, let's say in 30 days, what would change in Ogoni land for people who are living there when you get that autonomy? Or have you received that autonomy?
Well, nobody gives you autonomy. You give yourself the autonomy.
Okay. So
by autonomy, we're taking our destiny into our hands. We want to control a fair proportion of Ogoni resources.
So how are you going to do that?
First of all, how are we going to do that? First of all, we've shown them our dissatisfaction with what is going on, and we have to work as a people. We have to unite and see it and ensure that we are disrespecting some of the things that really push us beyond the recognition as a people.
So do you have to declare autonomy before you unite and before you start doing those things? I thought those things are taken care of, and now there is a clear path on what should happen next. I mean, I'm asking you, in 30 days, if somebody gets into Ogoni land, what would be the change?
When you say in 30 days,
because that's what people say.
I don't stand by that ultimatum.
Okay, okay, all right.
It's a way of creating awareness for the Ogoni people to know that nobody is going to do anything for them except themselves. Okay. They should not sit down and wait on government. We've waited for all these years, and they've collaborated with with corporations and oil companies that are banned in the area to neglect the people. So why support them? Why support a government that will not do anything for you? A government that cannot provide you electricity in the 21st century is not worth working with. So we have to chart our way up.
It looks as if you have a little difference in opinion from what Dr. Goodluck Debo is saying, because he's warning that let no one take this collective will of Ogoni people, that they are not going to surrender. And you sound as if this is normal, business as normal. The only thing is that Ogoni people are coming together and they are going to now say we are demanding this and we are demanding that. Not that there is anything physically changing or anything changing in terms of governance of Ogoni land.
It will change. It will.
Okay.
Um, by this, I don't want to speak for Good Luck. Good Luck, he has his own followers, and I know Good Luck personally. I do respect him. He's an Ogoni. He's been in the struggle from the onset. But what I believe is that if the Ogoni people are serious about the autonomy, they will have to sit down together and work things out, and not, there has to be some civil disobedience, especially when the governor of River State, came on board to say, okay, I'll chase these people into the bush. I'll not let them come on. Who is he? Why must they say that?
Well, we were supposed to have Dr. Goodluck Debo today, and he didn't show up, and we're thinking maybe he's gone into the bush. But let me ask you, in the Bill of Rights that was turned over to the government of Nigeria, was presented to the government in 1990. And the Ogoni people base their argument on the fact that they are an indigenous people. Who is an indigenous person?
Okay, good. An indigenous group like the Ogoni people are a distinct ethnic group. We have a language, we have our culture, we have our traditions, we have our religion, and what we see is that resources from the Ogoni area has been taken away to develop other languages. If you go to Nigerian universities, you see that Igbo is being taught. You see that Hausa is being taught in universities. You see that Yoruba is being taught. But within our own territory and within Nigeria that we belong to, there's just nowhere. You don't see Ogoni being taught anywhere. So why should that be? So we are distinct people because we do not share the same culture with other ethnic groups. We do not share language with them. We do not share the same belief with them, and we have our own ways of doing things. And these values have been diminished by successive government and money from our own resources. So we do not want that. We want to have a fair share. We want to control a fair share of the resources that's been carted away from Ogoni.
Now, because people who are watching will be wondering, okay, if that is the definition of an indigenous person, it means that we probably have over 250 indigenous people in groups in Nigeria. Do you agree to that?
I agree. In Nigeria, we have over 800 ethnic groups,
So
and there's nothing
and
wrong with.
they're all indigenous people, and they
They are all
all
indigenous
demand
people.
they
There's nothing
all
wrong with them asking for their own rights.
okay,
And
that's
the only way Nigeria can move forward is for the center to allow the subgroups to develop on their own. It makes no sense that Ogoni people have been asking for a state for so long and they won't get it. We are economically viable. But states are being created for any groups that are viable, states that will not even be able to pay workers in their area. Doesn't make sense to you. So I'm only being fair here.
so. If tomorrow Goodluck Jonathan announces the Ogoni state, would that satisfy this demand for autonomy?
Ogoni state will mean that an Ukrainian will not come and be a governor in Ogoni. That's the first step. That means a proportion of the oil well that has been taken away from Ogoni land will be returned back to the area for the development of the Ogoni people. That would be a welcome development.
Okay, so let me ask you: are you a member of the movement of the survival of Ogoni people?
Friend, every Ogoni is a muscle. It depends on your level of commitment. I'm a committed muscle. And I fled Nigeria because of my belief in muscle.
So why is it that there's a faction that do not agree with this declaration that was made by Dr. Debo? A faction of Masop.
My friend, it appears as if you've lived in the West for too long. There has to be a faction in an organization like MOSOP. Because if there's no faction, then it means that the people are winning. What I see is that these oil companies, they're infiltrating MOSOP. And when they infiltrate MOSOP through the government of River State and other apparatus, there's bound to be difference of opinion. It happens in all organizations. But the core MOSOP people knows what the values of the Ogoni people are. We know what our demands are. People are talking about MOSOP today are not mentioning the Ogoni Bill of Rights. They're not mentioning any of our demands in the Ogoni Bill of Rights. These are the people that the government of River State, Governor Mechi, is putting in his pocket to make them his errand boys. He pays them and they can say whatever. But the core muscle people knows that the Ogoni Bill of Rights is the way forward for the Ogoni people. We we cannot put that down to talk as if we are government. We have to pressure government to do what is there in the Ogoni Bill of Rights.
Now, most observers are asking why now? Why this demand for autonomy when you have a Niger Delta president in power?
Well, whichever you look at it, you'll believe with me that the struggle of the Ogoni people led to so many things in Nigeria. First, it led to the what is it called? NDDC thing, the Niger Delta Development Commission, and it led to people saying, okay, let's give these people a chance. And you have an German who is the president of Nigeria. Good thing, no problem. I like that, at least for a change for the first time in that country. But again, why is this man not focusing on the pressures that is coming from the Ogoni people? Is it because the Ogoni people are non-violent? The Ijaw youth were violent, and people listened to them. The government listened to them. The government of Yar'Adua listened to them and gave them amnesty. We are not stupid to have gone about our struggle non-violently. We are not. Boko Haram have faced the federal government of Nigeria, with violence, and they're begging them. But we are asking for what is just. We are just seeking for justice, just a fair share of what is taken from us. What is Jonathan doing? He's not trying to listen to the Ogoni people, but he will. I take example from the from the fallout from the UNEP report, which led to the hydrocarbon pollution restoration project in Ogoni. Mr. President is now asking for that 1 billion that's been voted into that program, that project, to be used for the whole of Niger Delta. Does it make sense? So true. The Ijaw area has been polluted as well, but there has to be that environmental assessment impact studies on the area, on the environment, so that way the companies that are bounded, the companies that polluted the area, will also vote some money into there. I'm not saying don't do it, but they cannot use that money that's been voted into Ogoni cleanup for the whole of Niger Delta. That's stupid. And they think we'll sit and accept it. No, we will not.
Yeah, exactly. I have that question because I wanted to know. Most people might want to know what is this UNEP? What is in the report, and why is it at the center of this agitation and this anger in Ogoni land? Can you explain more? What is in that report, assessment report?
The United Nations Environmental Program is actually that was conducted on Ogoni land was actually a scientific assessment of all pollution in the area, and after months of survey and assessment, they found that the area has been badly and gravely polluted. So they made a recommendation that it will take 30 years to clean up Ogoni land, and they said those who polluted the area, which is Shell, we have to come up with some money to clean up the area. And Shell has given this money to the federal government of Nigeria.
How much money is this?
To my knowledge, $1 billion US.
Okay.
Okay.
The money was given to the federal government of Nigeria?
Yes, and it took the federal government of Nigeria 1 whole year for them to come up with an idea. And sadly, they're not sitting down with Ogoni people to say, what do we do? How do we clean up this area? They are not enforcing things on us. But the high prep project, which is the hydrocarbon pollution restoration project in the Ogoni area, a lot of people have studied it, and it's a welcome development. It's steps in the right direction. But again, what steps are they taking to bring the indigenous people into implementing this program? Are they involving the community people in this cleanup, or are they just going to enforce it, give contracts to just their friends? I don't think it's even right for federal government to hold this money. This money would have been put in an extra account for the Ogoni people to manage, to clean up the environment. But that is not being done. But at least they've given off a ray of hope that something will be done. I don't know if they're sincere about it, but I want to believe the federal government for once that they're sincere about this project.
Now, Governor Rotimi in Rivers State said that what Goodluck Adibo did was treason, and that basically that he should be ignored. And so far, the federal government, they seem to have basically ignored Debo. What do you think will happen next? Let's say the status quo stays the same. That is, nobody does anything. What would the Ogoni people do?
First, I want to believe that the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Rotimi Amechi, is naive. He's naive because he's saying Ogoni autonomy is unachievable. Who is he? He's not an Ogoni. He's been fighting for everything for the Kure people. He's the chief security officer of Rivers State as the executive governor of the state. And yet, people are dying. What has he achieved for the Ogoni people? He's been able to go there and grab their land for plantation. Has he sat down with the people, with the owners of this land, to say this is what you are going to benefit from this land? Governor Rotimi Amechi, I see him as a terrorist to the Ogoni people because you cannot just get into an area and just bring army people to come and survey their land, and you are not sitting down to talk with them to see how you can compensate them for taking their land. And you are mentioning companies that will come there. Why don't you allow the Ogoni people to negotiate with this company? Why do we need an intermediary? There's no land for mortgage in Ogoni land. Some people have to tell him that. He doesn't listen to people except people in his party and people who work with him. But I guess they're not doing him any good by not speaking to him, by not telling him the truth. But what do I think is going to happen? Because the governor says something doesn't mean that that thing will happen. He's a governor. He did not know he was going to be a governor. So changes happen. Let's wait and see. I don't want to preempt anything, but we are poised on our autonomy and we are going about it the right way. We don't want any stone, thrown on anybody, but we'll achieve it. It's achievable.
All right, before I let you go, I want to ask you about the case that is at the Supreme Court of the United States, which you are involved in. How is it going?
So far, so good. The Supreme Court justices have asked for a rehearing, and we are going back on October 1st for oral argument. And I believe that all many people will, through this case, have justice. Because in Nigeria, like I say all the time, the government and the multinationals have actually bought the judicial system. And I don't see any ray of hope for this case in Nigeria. But again, this is just the beginning. Sure thing they can argue in America. They're not denying that they did not cause all those human rights violations in Ogoni land. They're not denying that. But what they are trying to argue is that these crimes were committed in Nigeria, not in America. So the case should be taken back, should be thrown away from the U.S. law court. I believe there's justice here. We have the best of lawyers. They have money, and they have the best of lawyers as well. But again, I believe that justice will prevail. And this will be justice not just for Ogoni people, but for all indigenous people around the world.
Now, do you think this demand for autonomy will help the case or hurt the case? How is that going to play out?
It has nothing to do with the case. The demand for autonomy, it just, Ogoni people saying, we're fed up with the system and we want a change. If there's a change, then we've achieved something. If there's not achieved something. To many people, they think the government will just keep them quiet and nothing will happen. We'll continue to press. But one thing that will not happen is they want Ogoni to use violence like other groups. It will not happen. Like we are doing in this case. We have a path to justice. And that's what we'll continue to pursue. We're not afraid of anyone. Ogoni people are not afraid of Mr. Amechi. And Mr. Amechi is not Ogoni God. Sadly, he came to my village of Bane and said that a state for the Ogoni people is not possible. I don't know why he thinks so. The current River State today had more groups than we have today. And some other parts like Bayelsa State broke out of River State. And they're doing so well. So I don't know what will hurt Mr. Amechi if we're going to, lead River State.
All right, Mr. Charles, Wiwa, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the result.
Okay, when we come back, we will still get a different view from another Ogoni citizen here in the United States who will talk to us about the situation in Ogoni land. Stay tuned.